Welcome, welcome. This is episode 10 of Two Monkeys on a Microphone. This is Jacques, and I'm joined here by Ethan. Um, you might have noticed that there's a week in between our last episode. Actually, more than a week. Has it been 2 weeks since our last episode?
Yeah, it was
It
two
seems like it's
weeks.
been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um,
Well, I'm here right now eating my soup. I told Ethan already a little bit about this, but I had this old pot, and the pot had Teflon, eh, like lining inside, and I've been eating out of it for 2 weeks since, as you remember, I am away from home right now at University of Laval, and I found this pot in like this donation pile. And I've been using it for 2 weeks, and just yesterday, or maybe the day before that, I noticed that the Teflon coating was kind of flaky and coming off. And the way I noticed that was I was eating my rice and I found a whole bunch of black flakes in my rice.
oh,
So I've probably been eating Teflon for 2 weeks now.
Jesus.
But I've got a new pot and
Yeah.
I just cooked up some soup. And if you hear some clanging and tinking, it's me eating my nice chicken noodle soup out of my pot that I just bought today. I'm very proud because it was pretty cheap too.
How much was it?
It was like $30.
$30. Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, okay.
it was on
Uh,
sale.
um, Viewers, you can't see this, but on my camera right now, we're in the Discord call, and Jock's eating his soup, and his camera is pointing towards the pot of soup. It's like he is shoving it in my face that he just bought a new pot, and he's enjoying his soup, which is absolutely hilarious. I wish I could show this. Anyway,
Well, yeah, Ethan can't even see my face. He just sees the pot full of soup.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, it's been 2 weeks since our last episode. We have been so busy with a lot of stuff. I've been writing my thesis. It's almost done. It's done, by the way. It's actually done. I just need my
Congrats.
yeah, thank you. I just need my opinions. No, I just need my advisor's opinions on it. She gave some feedback. Some of them were good. Some of them were
What?
kind of like it makes me do work and I don't like it because I'm already done with it. Like I don't want to, like write more stuff into it. Like I hate it. So anyway,
Okay.
so
Well, you chose the topic.
well I did, yeah, but apparently there's some sort of format that you have to follow, and
Oh,
it's kind of annoying. Like the little things. Like imagine when you're done finishing. Imagine you're finishing like 70 pages of thesis, and someone just came up to you and be like, "Hey, Ethan, you forgot this part, and that must be included." And when I was writing it, I didn't plan that part because I didn't know that that was a requirement. So now I have to like redo everything and make sure that the part fits in everything that I've done, which is yeah. That's why I told you that my advisor gave me a lot of work to do, and I did not like that because I only have a few days until I submit it. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I also been
Well-
playing a lot of City Skylines.
City Sky. Well, I was just gonna say before we like get into any official topic or anything, maybe since it has been 2 weeks. Wow,
Yeah.
2 weeks since our last podcast. How about if we just give a bit of an update on like what happened? I know you've kind of done a little bit of that, but we can maybe even go a little bit more in depth, things that we've learned, discoveries about ourselves that we didn't know 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow, okay. You did some. Yeah, I'll let you start.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
So while I was meditating and pondering the meaning of life,
Yeah, sure.
I discovered many things in these 2 weeks. One of which is that I believe people evolve. Pretty groundbreaking, eh?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah. So we have faults, right?
Yep.
I have few, you have many,
Mm.
and these faults stay with us. I know a lot of people believe that we grow out of our weaknesses, and I think that's somewhat true. However, I also believe that weaknesses, things that you struggled with when you were young, will come back later on, especially when you're in an unfamiliar situation. So I have left my home city to live in a different city. And that departure has made me discover that there's these issues that I had with myself that I thought, were not, were gone. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But I have rediscovered them again. You see, when I was a little Jock, this might be hard for you to believe. I was a very shy, pure, kind boy,
Right.
and I didn't like to socialize much. Let me just finish this bite of
Sure.
monkey soup. Well,
Uh,
because of that, I I think I had confidence issues when it came to socializing with people.
wow. Okay. Really? I.
When I went to Japan for my first exchange program, I felt like a lot of that shyness and that reservation disappeared because I had a lot of fun and I really opened up myself. And by the time I did my second exchange to Korea, I believe that I was quite a different person. In fact, when I told people that I was an introvert before, they didn't believe me at all. And when I came back to Regina, in my classes, I also was very extroverted. I talked to people a lot. I knew everyone by name in the classroom. And I went out of my way to talk to every single person during the break and try and get to know them and just socialize with them. However, I have to admit that I am having difficulty socializing in this program.
Oh.
I haven't quite put my finger on the reason yet. But what I have noticed was a lot of insecurities I had when I was a kid have resurfaced, which has made me kind of come to this theory that we evolve in a way where we gain skills that hide our weaknesses. So if I'm not very good at writing, then I'll develop my reading skills, develop other skills that have to do with writing that will help to kind of help me do better at writing. So for example, looking on the internet for vocabulary and using the thesaurus to find different types of words you can use, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
If you have a bad memory, you'll develop tricks to kind of help you overcome that, where you'll have a notepad and you'll write down important things in the notepad, and that'll help you remember things that you might not remember otherwise.
Mm.
So I believe when you go into a however, when you're in a situation where a lot of those things that you've built up, you can't implement in the same way you were implementing them before, that's when those raw kind of faults reemerge. And that is Jacques' TED Talk for the day.
Well, thanks for telling me. Wow. I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
very deep.
yeah. I have a few things to say. Getting back to the whole, to your theory that
Mhm.
your mistakes is what it follows you, and even though you learn things, sometimes it reemerge. I think there's this quote from a writer. He's my favorite writer. I read his stuff a lot. His name is Mark Manson, and
Mm-hmm.
in one of the articles that he wrote about, he mentioned about how people are very difficult to change. Not like changing like your outfit or your personality, but things like your insecurities, your value, and your mistakes, right? You can be like if you, for example, if you grow up poor and the way that you see money is as a poor person, it's gonna stick with you for quite a long time, even though in the future you might not be poor anymore. You might be better off, but the mentality of money is going to be the same. It's still there, and it's going to take years for you to change that, and that's okay. And that was the article, and I read that, and I liked it very much because it reminds me a lot of mistakes that I did and what kind of person I grew up. Even though things are different now, but I still see them in me, and sometimes it still reemerge. And I think that's what's happening with you. You did a good job of overcoming what you were lacking as a young shock. And you did very well, by the way. Like, oh my god. Like people were telling you that you're not an introvert.
You,
I
you
get
don't need to go into the praises and anything. I do really like this article that you said. You're poor once, you've been poor for a long time, you
yeah,
suddenly become rich, but you
yeah,
still have the mentality of a poor person.
yeah.
I think that's
Yeah, it's not just about being poor. It's also about like insecurity, right? Like you grew up being this kid who was being bullied in school. You didn't have any friends. You were socially awkward, and that sort of mentality of thinking like you're a failure, no one likes you, is gonna stick to you, even though when you grow up, you will become this most likable person in the school. Like everyone knows your name. You're invited to everywhere. People know you, but deep down, that feelings that you kind of develop when you were a kid, it's gonna be there, and that's okay. And that's something that uh, you live with, I guess. And I feel like that's going on right now with you, and
mhm.
it's quite a
Something else. Yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say something else that I learned
Hmm.
while living alone and not having the typical supports one usually has when they're living with their family.
Hmm.
I learned that time is, you'll never have enough time to do everything you want. If you want to be fit, you won't have enough time, and you want to go to the gym, you can do that, but that time's going to be taken and you can't get that back. So, in order to be the best type of person you want to be,
Hmm.
you're going, there's goals that you want to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
I want to be fit. I want to be more intelligent. I want to have a better memory. I want to draw more. Lots of different things. However, I can't do all those things, unfortunately. I wish I could,
Hmm.
but there's just only so many hours in the day.
Hmm.
Which, so on one hand, you can get very depressed about that because you're aiming so high, right? But you're not even getting close to attaining what you'd like to attain. The other hand is you accept that you aren't able to do everything you want to do. However, that's also dangerous because the more you accept this kind of mediocrity or this inferiority to this vision that you have of your own excellence,
Hmm.
the more you get comfortable with that. I haven't been to the gym in, I think, 2 weeks since our last podcast.
Oh.
And that motivation to go to the gym is getting weaker and weaker and weaker day by day.
Oh no.
However, I'm doing a very good job of cooking every single meal.
Hmm.
Um, and doing the laundry and keeping my room clean. So that's like making me feel good. But at the same time, at the back of my mind, if I keep living like this, I'm not going to be as strong as I once was. I'm not going to be as smart. And yeah, it's kind of like you get torn because there's all these things you wish you could be doing,
Mm-hmm.
but you aren't doing them.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two things I discovered in these 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
that we've been away.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn. You've told me one thing, which is your thesis.
Thesis.
Think of something else, Ethan.
Sure.
Give the viewers, a little bit of information.
Sure.
What has
Sure.
happened to us.
I would love to go into that, but I just have a few minor things I want to ask you about. So you mentioned about you're having a little bit of trouble fitting in and making friends and socializing. Um, do you think it's because of the language, or is it because like people don't share anything in common with you, or like?
I think it's a kind of a cop-out answer,
Hmm.
but I think our mentalities are different.
Yeah.
They're coming here to learn French and have a good time.
Are you not?
I'm coming here to learn French, have a good time.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I'm thinking about going off to China and becoming a teacher.
Right.
So there's this restraint around me
Mm-hmm.
that isn't allowing me to be as open as I want to be. For example, while I was going to, while I was cooking my soup, I went up to my room
Mm-hmm.
to grab the stuff for the podcast today. And as I was leaving my room and going back to the kitchen to check on my soup, I ran into someone. And they're like, oh, there's going to be a party. Gonna come along.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really should be going out with them and partying, socializing. It's the last week of the program. But instead, I have to say, no, sorry, I have this soup cooking. I have to go cook my soup.
Soup cooking.
And it really tears me up because
I should laugh.
the party is very, very appetizing, but the soup is way more appetizing than the party. So do you see how these different mentalities are, kind of are? They value the party more than the soup, and I value the soup more than the party.
I admire that. Like,
Thank you.
I'm laughing right now, but like I'm not laughing because I'm making fun of you. I'm laughing because it's something that I would do, but it's also hilarious at the same time.
Hey, I went to like a kind of like, it's soirée chic. It's like a dress up night.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a party environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I had fun,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's just, again, different mentalities.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there's this constraint around me where I have to act professional. I have to act like a teacher because I'm going to be a teacher very soon.
Yeah.
And if I break that kind of teacherly composure, then it's going to just make things harder in the future.
Well, I don't think that would happen because it's very normal to have different kind of personality around different people and different social groups, and I feel like you shouldn't be so hard on yourself and being so keen on being professional and living your life in a way that will build up into a teacher's life. Well, I mean,
it's going back to that point I made earlier, where you
Yeah.
have this high vision of yourself,
mm-hmm.
and then you have the realistic version.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, frankly speaking, if I were to open myself up and just have kind of like, just think about socializing and not think about the future and, what kind of teacher I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would never be able to obtain that high esteemed vision of a teacher
Mm.
that I want to become. I think that maybe it's a cowardly answer, but I don't think that the reason I'm not able to socialize in the way that I tend to
Mm-hmm.
is necessarily because um, I these this shyness and these faults are reemerging. I do think they play a part in that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think also at the same time it's this understanding that I have to grow up. I can't I can't be this young-minded person who's just partying and having fun because at the end of the day, partying and having fun, I'm not able to study. I'm not able to concentrate on the things that matter
Right.
to me.
Right.
Like for these people, when I was like again, there are people my age here who are having fun and partying,
Mm-hmm.
but when I was younger, when I went to Japan, when I went to Korea, it was to learn Korean, but I wasn't thinking about, oh, I have to become a teacher or I have to comport myself in a professional manner. I was thinking this is my time to be free, to be kind of myself and away from my parents and challenge myself. And I think a lot of people in this program are in that mindset now, where they want to be free, they want to challenge themselves, they want to see um, how great they can possibly be in this social context. However, that doesn't attract me. It's in the same way that there are people who are very attracted to the idea of being in a relationship, and because of that, they're willing to go to great extents to try and get into a relationship with someone. I met one of my friends today, and I mean, from my elementary school
Mm.
during this program, and for him, women are very important. They play a very important um, part of his life. For me, I don't think they're as important as they are to my friend.
Mm.
I have different goals, I have different aspirations, and I think that is the reason why there's this divide
Mm.
because we don't have the same mental, we're not in the same mental state.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something. Well, I mean, wow, like you're you're so committed, and I actually feel like you're gonna be a great teacher. Like,
Well, I don't know.
hey, you work hard, you set your priorities straight, and you focus on the things that matters to you. And I admire that personally. And also, you know what? If that's what's important to you, then I,
We'll see.
yeah, yeah.
It's impossible to know everything,
Mhm.
but this is kind of my understanding of the situation right now.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we've talked enough about me. Now
Yeah.
it's your turn, Ethan.
Okay.
What have you
Stop,
been doing these past
stop
2 weeks?
pressing me. I was gonna share you this personal story, but since you
Sure.
want to know so much about my week, viewers, as you
Okay, share your personal story and then we can get into the week.
fine. I was gonna say this conversation reminds me a lot of my old workplace. You know, the one I did my short intern uh, for my graduation thesis. So I have like here, college here works kind of complicated. So you have to have enough credits, and when you have enough credits, you have to do an internship assigned by the faculty in the school, right? And then after that, you get to finish your graduation thesis. So I was doing my internship, right? And that's the company that I told you I was working at an translator. Um, and I gotta say, this conversation reminds me of that because I felt so alone. when I was working there. I didn't like anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't like the working culture there. I didn't find the joy in talking to the people there, and I just couldn't figure out why, right? And I remember there was a goodbye party to all of the interns. They threw a little bit of party, and they invite everyone over for lunch. And outside that, they also do share lunch together. Like every Friday, we'll sit together and have lunch. I never joined any of that because I just felt so awkward being around them. And when you mentioned about how these sort of moments kind of makes your insecurities and your past mistakes kind of reemerge, I think that's what happened too. I always believe myself as someone who's very confident, very easy to socialize. I can just walk up to anybody that I can talk to them and make meaningful connection. It's something that I think I'm good at. But then in those brief weeks, I felt everything that I know about myself is like completely the opposite, right? Because I was so awkward. I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I was withdrawing from any kind of chance to socialize. And to this day, I still didn't know why. I don't know. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah.
it's hard because you believe you've progressed, but
True.
I
Yeah.
don't know. You get into but were people like of your age group? Because sometimes that's a reason why you might feel a bit alienated.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, my manager is just above. No, she's exactly my age. My
Mm.
coworkers are a little bit younger, but yeah, they are roughly the same age group as me. So, and coming back to the mentality that you said, I think that's something that struck me is that I don't share my values and their values are very different, right? Um, they are there because the school assigned them there. They really didn't want to be there, and they just want to get the job done and maybe go home and finish their degree. And in a sense, it's kind of the same for me as well. But then I have a very different view of, you know, how to finish your work and what I should prioritize in my time at the company. And that sort of contrast makes me feel kind of different. Feels kind of stand out. Not in the like I'm better than everyone, but in the oh my god I'm so different. Like is it just me or like am I the crazy one? So yeah, and the other thing is that I didn't feel really appreciated. So it kind of feeds on the idea of the insecurities. It's coming back and it's striking me, you know, that sort of stuff. But anyway, the bottom line is I feel I can understand what you're going through, and the fact that you have your priorities so straight up and you're so focusing on it, I feel like that's very admirable, and you're willing to give up a lot of things that people sometimes they're not willing to give up, or maybe they're not even able to see it. Um, and I think that's great. You're you got a bright future ahead. So
Thanks, Ethan, and I think the same to you. It is that's sometimes the thing with work environment where you think that something's going to fit like a glove, but
mm,
in fact it isn't. Like I remember I thought I was going to be a vet. I loved animals,
yeah.
and then I did. I went to a veterinary uh, clinic, and I didn't like it there. I got to see kind of the world behind the scenes, and it didn't seem to suit me. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Sometimes you think that you're meant for, you know, you want to be something,
Mm-hmm.
or you're headed towards a certain direction that you think is meant for you, but
Mm.
then you later find out that actually it isn't, and you're a different type of person than what you believed you were.
Mm. Well, that's
Speaking of
yeah.
which, do you want to go into your week or do you want to go into our topic for the day?
Yeah,
Either or.
I was gonna mention my week. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's not something too groundbreaking, you know. I did spend some time pondering the meaning of life. I did not learn any lesson or did not discover anything about myself. I just lose a lot of sleep.
Oh no. What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 11 and I will lie down until like 3 a.m. until I can sleep. Like last night I watched a YouTube video until like 2 about voluntarily extinction. Um, Great video, but I did not sleep very well lately. Um, and well, I've been busy with my thesis. That's something that I told you, and that's just something about a thesis. I've been it's been the only thing that I've
You,
been thinking about, you know. And outside of
you
that,
think it
so
you
basically,
think it's
yeah,
wearing you down?
a little bit, yeah, because like it's not like it's hard to write. It's not like I'm not going anywhere with the thesis. I like the topic, and I finished it, but you know the thought of having something to do it just drains me. And so okay, so what I've been doing the last week, writing my thesis, thinking about my thesis, and playing City Skylines so that I don't think about my thesis.
What's City Skylines?
Oh, you
What
don't know
is
the
this new game?
Oh, you don't know the game? Okay. Uh,
Let me just quickly search it up. And now you can see my face because I
okay.
have to search this. City Skylines. They always find the weirdest games.
The pot of soup is
Um,
gone. No.
Skylines.
Good shave, man.
I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna be making fun of you very soon, Ethan. So it might be, might be become a toxic podcast. Okay, I've looked at the images and I can't get much from the images, so I'm gonna watch a very short video
It's a short video.
of the Skitty Skylines with no sound, and we'll see what I think of it. I'm just going through a whole bunch of ads right now, but once these ads are over,
I'm over. Yeah.
at least before these ads finish, is it better? Like, is it more complex than Factorio, or is it not?
I would say it is complex, but not in the same way. Like it's complex as in you have to manage a lot of stuff, and in Factorio, it's more than management. It's about everything. It's about well, anyway, just watch the video. You get the idea of it. While you're waiting for the ads, so basically the idea is that you build a city, and the game gives you these sort of tools that you have freedom in expression, as in like you can build a city in whatever way that you want, right? You can build a literal shithole. That's doable. And if you want to build something as realistic, you can do it also. I can see the soul in your eyes. They're leaving your body listening
How
to
do
me.
you find these useless games, even? Like, I'll admit, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel doesn't take much brain power, but like, it definitely takes more brain power than this.
What
I'm
do you?
looking at a person looking at like an island right now with like nothing on it, and I guess he's gonna build stuff. You know, Zoo Tycoon. When did Zoo Tycoon come out? I think Zoo Tycoon, you know, which is a game for children, is more exciting than this. 2001. This has been around since 2001. This concept, and I think like in 2001 it was pretty cool. Zoo Tycoon, everyone loved it. You make your own zoo.
Uh-huh.
You try and like be it like have the best zoo out there.
Uh-huh.
To these skylines, like this fad has died. It's like what's the one? It's Spore. What's the game where you evolve again? Is it Spore?
Playing.
Just
do you
Yeah,
mean?
it's Spore. Like
Spore?
it's kind of like Spore, like
I don't
where
know.
in the past it was really cool, and now like if you play Spore, it's like
Spore.
you're one of those weirdos.
Oh,
Spore was
that's
really
the
fun.
game. You played Spore and you making fun of me for playing City
I
Skylines?
played Spore when I was. When did Spore come out? Let me just see. That way
2008.
I can.
2008.
2008. So I played it when I was 9. And I played Zoo Tycoon too, probably when I was 9. Well, I never actually really played. I just watched my friends play.
Did you?
However,
Uh-huh.
I think this looks way more interesting than this Zoo Tycoon, not Zoo, this City Skyline game that you're showing me right now.
um, my
It's
goodness.
been like, okay, in the video, it's been like uh 10 minutes and he hasn't really built much. It still looks like an island.
Well, I mean, city skylines are complicated. It takes time for you to grow
Yes, it
things.
just takes a whole bunch of time to
Yes.
do barely nothing. I see. You
Well,
build roads and that like takes already like my goodness. The guy's just building roads.
have you
Ethan,
played? Have you played?
why? Okay, maybe you should be an architect. I think you're in the wrong department.
The wrong department. That's something I've been telling people. Like, I had this idea in myself that in an alternative universe where I'm good at math, I would definitely be an engineer or an architect.
And live broke. But at least you'll have a job.
At least
That's
I would have
better
a
than
job. Yeah.
yes.
Um, broke? I don't think so. Like engineering makes quite a lot of money. Well, I mean, you work a bunch of stuff too, but
If you're one of the higher up ones. For some reason, Ethan, I can't imagine you as a high up architect, like in that business suit and has like pure white teeth,
pure white tea. Anyways,
socializing with all the cool kids.
city skylines. I'm building the perfect country in the world where it's basically Canada, but people knows how to turn right and left with their turn signal on, and they're not scared of roundabouts. That's the idea. I've been making it. It's so fun. I've sunken like hours into it. Um, and it keeps me busy. It doesn't make me think about stuff, and it drains me enough that I can go to bed and maybe sleep a little.
As long as you're happy, so be it. Play whatever this game is, City Skylines.
What is it that you don't see the appeal? What is it?
I'm telling you, it's basically Zoo Tycoon, but a little bit more complicated. Like after more than 10 years of development, it still looks the same as Zoo Tycoon. Like they haven't progressed the genre very far. However, looks like there's still people who play this type of game.
A lot of people, yeah, you'd be surprised. I think the game lives so long is because of the mod community, where they just offer a bunch of stuff that the developers don't have the time or money to develop. But anyway, yeah, that's where I sung my
I
arse.
I could maybe see like playing a game where it's like that, but you're building your own castle
Mhm.
or like kingdom,
Mhm.
but like a city. You have to be a real special kind of person to find like enjoyment
Well, yeah, I guess.
out of building a city. Like an architect, literally, you'd have to be like an architect.
you. Well, I mean, the game is aimed at all kind of people. If you want it to be a fun game where you build stuff like Zoo Tycoon, where you develop your city in whatever way that you want, that's okay. You can do that. But like if you want to build your dream city, right? Like if you want to visit a place like let's say Japan, and you're never gonna visit Japan, so you build a city that looks like Japan in city skylines. It's basically you're visiting it. So it's fun. It's really fun. Come on.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
I think I've got an idea of what you've been up to these weeks, and probably what you're going to be up to these coming weeks too.
Oh, by the way, this upcoming weeks, Payday 2 is free on Epic Games. So if you want to grab it and we can play together, I know you're focusing on becoming a teacher and flying to China. I know.
I was just talking to you about how little time I have and how like I'm trying to aim for the heights and how I'm sacrificing my social life for that. And you have the audacity to ask me to like join one of your stupid. Okay, Ethan. During one of my classes, we had this interesting topic.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because I'm looking at like there's videos on the side.
Yeah. Of city
Of
skylines.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see this one video with this cute lady who I guess is a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminded me of something we were talking in class.
You guys were talking about
on Friday,
yeah,
which was not about how to build a city, but whether like looks play a very important part in getting a job.
Oh.
I.e. appearance.
Oh. So, what's the verdict? What's the conclusion that we're drawn?
Well, I'm asking your opinion.
Well, my opinion.
Because,
well,
I usually start off with these, so
I mean,
we switch it up and you start.
I'm just following with the facts, and the facts show their researchers show that age and appearance play a very big role in getting a job. The younger you are, the harder it is to get a job, and the better good looking you are, the taller you are, also, then your chance of impress the other person and being perceived as someone who's competent at your work, it's much higher. So yes, I do think that appearance plays a very big role in getting a job, which is I'm quite concerned about my future.
You don't think you're a pretty person?
No. I just think I'm not ugly.
Well, you got the long hair, which is kind of cool.
Thank you. I'm glad you find my hair cool.
I tried growing out my hair, and I got kind of an afro look.
Uh-huh.
And it's cool, I know. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really the style.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it kind of looks like a big cloud.
Uh-huh.
I always thought, like, if I
Big
had
cloud.
the chance, I'd like to grow my hair out very long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my hair would be kind of like the style where it's like long and puffy,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, looking at your
Which
current
would be a
hairstyle
really
right
cool
now.
style. Yeah. But like, whenever it comes summertime, I have to cut my hair because I don't want to look like a goofball when I'm like applying for jobs.
Uh-huh.
And my dream of having that long puffy hair goes away.
Okay, but like back to your question, like you asked that and I said that. So what do you think? Like, do you think appearance is important to get a job?
I think that like if you're a very pretty person,
Uh-huh.
like you should really like aim for the top because you can like probably do like things that other people couldn't even dream of.
Yeah.
Just by
Beauty.
just by beauty alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's really surprising, and it can be a bit of a like. I think if you rely too heavily on your looks,
Mm-hmm.
then it can cause problems later on.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, like, I think you can get away with murder, pretty much. Like,
yeah,
if
I mean,
you're just like a goon and you're like
A
playing
goon.
games on like YouTube and you're trying to make it,
uh-huh.
you have like a 0.001% chance of making it.
Exactly.
You have to be like put a lot of work in, be
Uh-huh.
very dedicated.
I
But
don't.
if you like,
Mhm.
if you play the right cards and you look good, You know,
You got it.
it's
Yeah.
probably like it's a 5% chance instead of like
0.
0.0001.
But yeah, looks are important. Very, very important. I mean, I think that's what people like. I think that's something that people accept. Like, I don't think people are gonna be like, oh no, I don't think appearance is important. I think a lot of people can agree with that. That appearance does make a lot of difference when it comes to jobs and work and stuff. But anyway,
Yeah, it's just an interesting topic.
yeah, I had something in mind I was gonna say, but I forgot. But you know what? It's gonna come later. Anyway, so shall we jump into our topic today? I mean, we've been talking for a good while. I mean, that itself is an episode. But
We might want to save it for next week, just because it's been almost an hour.
Yeah.
I feel like the topic we have
was
is like
pretty damn
rather
good.
big because it's like made out of many smaller topics.
Uh-huh.
So like we can do it now, but
You know what? Let's do it next week because I don't wanna,
spoil it or
Well, no, let's not spoil it. Let's just keep it for
Okay,
ourselves.
okay.
Because
just in case we switch up.
Yeah, just in case we switch up. Like we Anyway, we can keep it going for another 15 minutes and we'll call it a day.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is nice talking to you after like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
been a while, eh?
It's definitely been a while, and I kind of miss this because keep in mind that I've been writing my thesis, and that's the excuse that I use to not going outside and meet people. So like
I think the truth is the reason why you're depressed and staying up till 3 in the morning is because you miss the sound of my beautiful voice.
There's some truth into that. But yeah, it's really nice talking to you. I mean, kind of miss this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can get a guest on soon. I have someone, but I don't know. They might not come. They might not come on. Speaking of which, why don't you find a guest? That would be kind of cool, Ethan.
Well, I've been trying my ass off to get
You have a roommate.
No, I don't think she's into podcasts.
How about I'm sure. How about the supervisor?
The supervisor.
Could be cool.
No, I'm pretty sure she has a lot going on in her life right now. She's writing her PhD paper and while having 4 kids and a family to feed. So.
And having to deal with you. Yeah, I also would wanna.
It's hard, you'll be surprised at the kind of reaction that people give you when you ask, hey, you want to do a podcast?
I know, like if I was asked, I'd be like right away, sure, have me on. I'd love to do that, but I guess not everyone. You see, this is kind of the weird thing, hey, right? Like, why are so many like people? I don't know.
What?
Is it only the unsocial who don't like to do podcasts, Ethan?
Well, I mean, I think myself as someone who's quite social.
Me too.
Yeah. I think it all comes down to personal preference and what they think of podcasts, but it's hard.
I'm surprised at how many people are like, oh, I don't know if I can talk freely like that. It's not one of my skills.
I think
podcast is all about being chill and just like having a normal conversation. Like you don't need to worry about sounding too professional.
But it's actually quite difficult. I mean, it's basically being a commenter. Commenter? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
commentator.
Commentator. Yes. Wow, English. So it's basically like being a commentator, and your job, it's basically engaged in a conversation in whatever they're talking about. And when people think about podcasts, they think about a very niche, specific topic that they might not have any idea how to comment on that. And I think that's something that scares people away, because we can do a podcast together because of the dynamics that we have, right? We're friends, we know each other, we share the same values, and
I I enjoy bullying you.
yeah,
You enjoy being bullied.
yeah, that sort of stuff, and
I see.
that makes it kind of easy for us to just jump into it and be relaxed and have a lot of things to say about. But like to a random Timmy sitting across the table, that might not be the case. So I think that it can be understandable that people can give you weird looks when you ask them, "Hey, you want to do a podcast?"
Sure. Okay. Well, I think that we got a good summary for how our weeks have been.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think we've done a good job today. So I guess it's a little shorter than a few of our other episodes, but
Yeah, we don't need to.
that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Hmm.
This time, Ethan, let's
Yeah.
do a short outro. We have to practice this. Our
Okay.
outros are too long.
Okay.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys join us for our next podcast. It will be an exciting topic. Ethan came up with the idea. And yeah, see you next time.